Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Nexon Arena. It's our very first group of the Neighbor Starleague here. And already, we have one player advanced, Leonok taken first place. Fantasy is out, though. And we've got one Protoss versus Protoss left to find out who's getting out of the group in second place.
It's really going the distance today. First group, and it's already gone, like, maximum games. Have we had a 2-0 today? I don't think so, Wolf.
No.
It's gone every single game. 12 games already.
Could have 15. Let's see if we can go the distance.
Let's go all the way. Let's just stay in Gangnam all night long, Wolf.
Well, I will because I live here.
I will too, because I won't be able to catch a taxi home.
No worries, it's Thursday. You'll get out of here. Unless we have 3 late game PvPs, and I guess you're just going to have to hang out with me.
Then we're just, going to have to hit the club.
We might have to do that. Tomorrow is our day off.
First map, gonna be merry-go-round, Wolf. Here's the.
I love looking at bans in a mirror matchup because then you can really see stylistically how these two want to play it.
Yeah.
Because bans on Deadwing and Nimbus means Super does not want to play late game versus
Terminator.
Terminator.
Want to play those big maps.
And bans from Terminator on Catalina doesn't mean too much, but the ban on Overgrowth is like, I want to play late game. And you know what? I feel like this already shows us these two player styles. But even if we didn't have this, I would tell you the same thing. Super is like Billowy. He plays aggressive PvP. He likes his 3-gate timings. He likes his Blink Stalker all-ins. And he might throw the occasional DT into the mix. He's very aggressive. He's not the type to Century expand almost ever. And, I mean, he's been like that ever since Wings of Liberty. And I expect to see nothing different here, especially considering the bans we have out of him. I think he's expecting to play some short, aggressive, hyper, fast Warp Gate Research type builds, try to get in there and force something out of Terminator to be the attacker.
Well, looking at those maps, starting out on Merry-Go-Round, then Foxtrot, and then King Sejong, I feel like the first 2 maps at the very least can be pretty quick. They can kind of suit the Super style of being that highly aggressive, pressure-oriented Protoss player. And Terminator, obviously, would want to play on that King Sejong station because, obviously it can go to the mid-game a lot easier.
You're absolutely right, Moonglade. Let's go into our last match of the night. This is Protoss versus Protoss. Find out who's going to the round of 8. In the top right, in red, Protoss player, who's Terminator. I had to look at your screen.
Yeah, I was going to say Super. I was even looking at that before, and I was like, I know who is going to be, but I was completely wrong.
Up to the top left, of course, is Super.
It's Terminator.
No. I once cast an entire PvP at the Code 8 qualifiers. I think I was casting with Kaldor. Might have been casting with Moltrap, I can't remember, but I remember Oz was one of the players. I can't remember the other player, but they both had barcode IDs. And we were told incorrectly who the players were.
Oh, really?
And it was a very close PvP series. We were standing up and yelling, cheering for Oz. We thought he won. We were looking at him. He looked really upset. We cast the entire PvP series wrong.
That is horrible.
Because somebody told us the player is wrong.
Oh my god. As the player, I would feel horrible as well, especially if you're like celebrating and looking at me. I'm like, wow, I thought you guys were my friends. We douchebags.
It was definitely one of my most awkward moments.
Actually, I always had a lot of trouble when I first came here. Figuring out players' names and putting them to... Well, it pretty much just like which player was which. It was really weird. It actually took me getting used to, like...
Oh, sure.
I like forget the player. I'm like, oh, crap.
You know what's really tough is once you finally learn that, if you have to cast like a MOBA or a Counter-Strike or something like that with 5v5s, imagine trying to remember all those players' names and follow that, it becomes very difficult as well.
I did KDL. Don't worry, I know all about that, man.
So, standard mirror opening so far. Both players probe scouting. An incorrect scout from Super, and he's barely... Oh, I don't know if he actually saw that probe's tail. He might have.
I think he should have.
Oh, he would have turned, I think, if he did, though. I think it was on his vision, but I don't think he noticed it. Or he definitely would have rerouted that scout. He's keeping it in the middle, hoping a probe's going to go through there. But unfortunately, it already went through, and now he sees it.
And he's going to scout
the wrong
incorrect way anyway, so...
He may not have seen it. It looked like he might have on the minimap, but I can't be sure.
Yeah.
Definitely on the edge.
Well, nothing too crazy from either player anyway. Exactly the same build orders. Down to a T. Only that Terminator has the disadvantage of lack of knowledge.
I was just thinking about something, Moonblade.
What are you thinking of, man?
This Pros is Pros, we've got red and blue. If you're colorblind, you really need to have red and like yellow, man.
Yeah, you need that special map for colorblind people, right?
I'm like slightly colorblind, but not to an extent of these colors. It was like yellow and orange sometimes can mix me up. But
I mean, they can be pretty similar as well.
Also, blue and purple gets me, but sometimes just ask Valdez. He likes to make fun of me for that. I thought Facebook was purple for the longest time, but
really,
yeah, I was wrong. This scout, I don't know. I don't think he clicked on it. I didn't see the circle of clicking.
What if you just were taught incorrect colors?
I always wonder about that because we don't actually know if we see the same types of colors as each other. Like what you're looking at for blue might look different for me, as long as we describe them with words, so we're able to understand that it's blue. But your blue could be red, and my red could be blue. Never know.
It's true. It's true. And I do believe he did scout the Twilight.
Well, yeah, he puts his own Twilight down. It starts to seem that way.
Yeah, he has a fair idea. And from there, yeah, Terminator.
Terminator could go DTs here too. He doesn't necessarily have to go Blink.
He could, but I don't think so.
Well, normally if you do that, you have a hidden pylon to do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you scout a Blink build from your opponent, in the past especially when you couldn't afford to go Twilight, Blink, and a Robo because you might die to a 4-gate, when we didn't have Mothership cores, people would sometimes respond with DTs because you know that your opponent doesn't have detection with their opening. But a very safe Blink build here from Super.
Super safe, adding a Robo, which is going to help out a lot, especially considering how much further along it is to Terminators. If Terminator was to try anything, I'm sure there'd be a Immortal out in due time. From there, I'm sure they were going to transit to an expansion at some point. We are seeing a lot of proxy pylons for Super, though.
Yeah.
And a big warp in of Stalkers in the main.
Now it looks like it's going to be enough to deny any sort of DTs. He's got those to put him in a hold position, for example. But unfortunately, since they weren't at the secondary round, the Probe Scout, there's no Nexus. So this means that Super can just expand. There's no reason for him to attack into one base, right? His Pylon is also scouted. He may just go and try to kill the Stalker. Is that he can pick off?
Yeah, he's going to have Blink just a little bit earlier. He will get there in time, no doubt about that. It's about 15 game seconds left.
He's going to kill the Stalker.
Before
Blink
Blink
not paying attention. Oh, there actually he is.
You got to Blink forward now if he wants to do it. And he does it.
Saves the Pylon.
Very nice. It's going to apply a lot of pressure to Terminator. Being down a Stalker now all of a sudden.
I think it's just best to take a Nexus, though, and just stay up here at the front and make sure that Terminator can't take a Nexus.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to apply. He's not going to go all in with that. Not with a one Stalker advantage. And he does, that Nexus expand. Perfect choice.
This is a huge lead for Super. It's hard to use Immortals offensively in PvP. That's the advantage that Terminator has. He's got a late Nexus, but a faster Immortal count. And this is something that Super can easily catch up with. I mean, he's not even one Immortal down because he just immediately starts one. So the extra money that he's going to get is going to make him feel really comfortable. But in PvP, it's kind of like, it's not a massive advantage.
Observer.
Oh, wow. That's going to give him another advantage. He can just blink, but he doesn't even have to.
Ooh. Yeah, massive disadvantage for Terminator. Has absolutely no knowledge of the map. Completely in the dark. Looks like he's going to try for that Pylon. Okay.
Yeah, he can get this. Because he saw with his Observer before it died that the Stalkers were at least at home. And look at this.
He's going to get a full scout off? Almost.
Yeah, he doesn't know if there's like a bay at the natural or something like that, but you can always hallucinate Scout a little bit later for that, and he's making a sentry right now. It's kind of funny that both players got their Observers denied like that, though. As you can see, Super has his base a little bit faster. Terminator's going to pressure a little bit.
I reckon that's pretty considerably faster, man. It's still a third to go for the Nexus of Terminator.
Yeah.
He's going to get a nice little lead in supply and economy.
Not so sure what Terminator's going to be able to get done with these Stalkers.
Robotics Bay for Super now as well. Ooh. Bit of a trade.
Timid blink there from Super because he wasn't sure if there were any more Stalkers, perhaps like reinforcing from a pylon or something like that.
I think it was just like a really awkward concave. So
well,
like something you just don't want to take unless you're confident you're going to do well in the fight.
You have to crush it, right? You have to have a much better count if you're going to fight into that.
Yeah.
Base here faster for Super as well. These are these small advantages you can get when you have that extra gas. You have that faster expand.
Everything just going well for Super.
Sometimes when this happens, we see the player who has the later Nexus get Forge upgrades first, which is happening because he has to try to do something to get ahead, right?
Yeah.
And that's oftentimes accompanied with a faster third base as well. And sometimes Twilight Council tech instead of Colossus tech, but that's not what we're seeing from him here. That also means that range is going to be late. Something that probably won't come into play again in this matchup because the defender's advantage is so strong because Protoss units are so tough. Even having one more mortal, having one more Colossus than your opponent can make it so hard to attack.
Well, look at this. We're seeing Super move across the map with a lot of Immortals.
He's going to catch this Stalker.
Yeah. Oh, blinks just in time. And he's going to apply that pressure. Obviously not going to be committing to it. No pylons. Oh, there's actually a probe moving on the map now. But he is making a Colossi with this, so he's no doubt going to be waiting for that, plus his 3 extra gates.
It's really interesting he's going to go for a build like this. And his Immortals are way out of position over here, taking a lot of damage. But
still gets a couple of Stalkers. Is he just going to go up the ramp? Or is he
Force
wait?
fields are so important. He needs a Colossus before he wants to commit.
He needs that Colossus. And he's got a lot of minerals for Zealous to kind of buff him for this as well.
And those extra gates. But, you know, even with a Colossus going up this ramp into someone who's got a Nexus Cannon and a Time Warp is no easy feat. And to rock those Colossi onto Force Fields, he has to go right up to the top of the ramp, which is, you know, putting that Colossus in a dangerous spot as well. But he's going to go for it.
Here we
Nexus
go.
Cannon's active. And it looks like he doesn't have enough energy for a Time Warp.
Oh, there's
just not enough units.
Not enough at all. Way too much damage. All the Immortals are going down. Probes have to be pulled against the Colossus. Not going to happen.
Colossus comes out defensively. And the Nexus Cannon is still firing, but it's just not enough DPS against a Protoss army. Not even targeting the Colossus with the Nexus Cannon. GG. Faster base, faster Colossus, taking that advantage and running with it.
Yep. Complete advantage all game long from Super. Very well played. Exact same builds, just done faster, more aggressive, and taking full advantage of that economic advantage he had with the faster Nexus, following it up with a great 2-base all-in.